is Sound Off 60, Southwest Louisiana's premier sports talk television show. Sound Off 60 is presented by Tarver Ford in Sulphur. Give us a chance to earn your business. And by Jack Daniel's Bar and Grill at L'Auberge Casino Resort. Here are the boys, Rick, Scooter, and Kevin.
It's in the books, Super Bowl 47. It was the Ravens over the 49ers in New Orleans at the Mercedes-Benz Louisiana Superdome, and it lived up to the billing. The Hard Bowl, it was an exciting game. It was one-sided, and then it got real tight, and it was a crazy finish, gentlemen. Great game indeed.
Unexpected. I mean, tight game. I thought it was sloppy at times, but it was a good game. Anytime a Super Bowl, a Super Bowl is close at the end, you're happy.
Let me ask you guys, in so many bowls that we've watched, has it come down to a play to where we say, could this have decided the game? And I've got a play in mind.
Well, really? You do? One play?
Well, more than one. More than one. But the one play that I think may have cost my 49ers could have been the last play.
Where's that crow? Where's that crow at?
Who did I pick? I know in the
you are reasoning now.
I know in the newspaper I picked the Ravens.
You did.
Yeah, you did.
On this show, on this venue, you were pointing at me saying it was San Francisco the whole way. But then I saw something in the American press, like some kind of column you wrote, and a raven flew by.
Some kind of column. And it was a column.
Well, it was. But I'm saying, and I think the bird pooed on your shoulder. You said, "Oh, that's an omen. I gotta go with the Ravens."
Look.
Doesn't matter how I went with the Ravens. I went with them. You know.
We got issues.
Call Entergy.
It can happen at the Mercedes-Benz Dome. It can happen here on Sound Off 60.
We're in the dark.
We are. The lights have gone out.
34 minutes.
Kevin, do you know the song? The lights. The lights went out in Georgia, something like that.
It wasn't the Georgia Dome.
It wasn't the Georgia Dome.
Well, see what you can do. See if you can bring them back up.
We can get those lights back on. But what do you do?
There we go.
Hey, look, we're back.
We're just kidding around. Electricity never goes out at L'Auberge. Can you imagine the power going out over here at L'Auberge Casino and Jack Daniels?
We've got backup A, B, and C.
It doesn't happen. But it was an illustration of a craziness. That's crazy.
All the years that you've covered.
No, I've been to sports events where they had power outages.
Here locally, in the Louisiana Mercedes Superdome.
Oh, not in the Superdome.
Not in the Superdome.
That's ever happened, that I remember.
But the thing, the thing that everybody was saying, guys.
I was there in the Superdome when the gondola caught on fire, though.
I remember that.
I was at that game.
What are your thoughts, both of you, on that could have been a deciding factor if the 49ers would have won this game? I say poo-pah. I say poo-pah.
Oh, I totally disagree.
I said, what?
If the Ravens would have lost the game, if the Ravens
went out, Rick?
No.
Are you serious?
No. It played a critical factor in the 49ers coming back.
The 49ers have come from way back in every playoff game.
Did you see the game? Were you watching the game? Did you see the missed tackles? Did you see the lack of energy? Did you see the lack of focus by the Baltimore Ravens with a 34-minute delay such as that? You guys are totally nuts.
What you're telling me is that
whatever reason, it gave them time to regroup.
Didn't the Falcons
they were shell-shocked.
Didn't the Falcons jump way up on what 49ers
did. Yes, they did.
Did they get shell-shocked then?
Did they have a power outage there?
No.
Different teams, different personalities, different situations.
I don't buy into that.
You're a fool. The 49ers were shell-shocked. No, I'm saying it was a factor if the Baltimore Ravens would have lost the game. They didn't lose.
So you're saying it was a factor for making it close?
Oh, definitely. Oh my gosh! What games do you watch?
Have you watched the other games?
Oh my God!
It doesn't matter. This is the Super Bowl.
The 49ers got their. I mean, the first quarter, I thought the 49ers looked like their teeth were chattering. They had big game jitters.
Oh, they did,
and that was expected.
And they settled down, and you knew the Niners were going to come.
That had nothing to do with the comeback.
You knew the Niners were going to come back.
They have always been a second quarter team. You know this, Rick.
Second half.
Second half. You know this,
You knew
Rick.
the 49ers were going to come back. I'll give you that.
You knew that.
But the Ravens fell off the map, gentlemen.
Well, that's their fault.
And you don't put it on 34-minute delay? No. I don't care what John Harbaugh said. Look, if they were going to speak the truth, it affected their focus in the third quarter. There is no doubt in my mind. You as a former player should know.
So the hour-long halftime show had nothing to do with it.
Oh, that coupled with it. Flacco was not on the field playing football for 84 minutes. It didn't seem to affect him all that much.
Both quarterbacks wasn't on the field.
I know that. But the 49ers were shell-shocked. They were playing like crap. They just let a guy run 108 yards down their throat.
Yeah,
they were shell-shocked. It was perfect for the 49ers to sit back and say, oh my gosh, we need to refocus here.
I'm having a hard time
buying that. And the Ravens did not.
I'm having a hard time buying that.
We're going to table it. We got to table it because we're going to get back to this because I cannot believe you guys felt it had nothing to do with the game.
I mean, I didn't.
Both
teams had to go through that.
Well, that's like saying if it had started raining, that let the 49ers get back in it. It rained on both teams.
Yeah.
Rick, the blackout, it wasn't like one of them.
Rick, one team was down 28-6. They just returned the ball 108 yards to open the second half.
I think you're out of your mind. So this affects one team, but this only affects a team that's behind.
No, it affected both teams. It got the 49ers back in it. It gave them time to regroup mentally.
So what you saying they needed to rest? They just got out of an hour half.
No, but they needed to get their heads.
So what you saying,
they just had 108 yards slammed down their throat.
They couldn't get their heads in the game with an hour halftime?
Are you not listening to me? 108 yards. 108-yard kickoff return. That is a huge swing of momentum.
Okay.
And all of a sudden the lights go out.
I think it is too. I think it's
unbelievable.
I think
all right, let's. Good point, Kevin. Good point.
Yeah.
All right.
We're not done talking about
the Niners did come back, and a great comeback indeed.
They did, and that was
But this was a web and flow. No. You're right on. They appeared to be. I don't know about shell shock, but
they had jitters. They just were not in sync.
No, they were not. They were not in sync. First play of the game. First play of the game, they lose 20 yards. On a formation. I mean, those plays are scripted, Kevin.
You can't do that.
Crabtree, I mean, those are scripted. How do you make a mistake
That's
like
things that you practice over and over. But the thing that probably gets me, guys, more so when you look at the game and you look at the 49ers and you look at the Ravens, it seemed like there were places on both teams to where there were guys that were getting open, but Ray Lewis, I know my nephew's going to be sick, but Ray Lewis was a no factor in this game. Looking at it from where I looked at it from,
he had a couple of big tackles, but I mean, he was
the one trying to cover that tight end most of the time without much success.
He was a step or two slow.
But just looking at the game, guys, overall, and I hate to keep coming back to it, though. We're going to talk about it some more, though. As a former defensive back, that was holding.
No, it wasn't.
I disagree, Kevin.
I disagree. Would you really?
You know what you're looking at? You know what you're looking at? You're looking at Crabtree trying to get away from him because he was holding him. I would have done the same thing.
They were both engaged.
They were both engaged.
Would you really have wanted the Super Bowl decided on that call?
No, because they would have put the ball on the one. No, that wouldn't have decided the game.
They would have scored.
They would have put it on the one.
Oh, they would have scored.
First and goal.
Really? If I'm the ref, and you know, everything you hear from real referee experts, that call could probably have gone either way.
Yes, it could have.
Leave the flag. And let me say this.
They did a lot of times.
Nobody rants about NFL officiating more than I do.
Yes.
Would you agree?
I would agree with that.
I thought that was a very, very good crew.
Okay.
No, I'm talking about the entire game.
Oh, I did.
No, that was some kind of officiating crew.
I got a little issue, but they were consistent.
With what?
Scooter?
I don't know if we have enough time, but it was chippy.
Well, let's go
was chippy right from the start.
It was.
And they could have got it under control.
And now, look,
there was a referee that was pushed.
Yeah.
And
he was
pushed. And there were punches thrown.
But I commend him for that because the guy didn't see him. He didn't see him. And he didn't see him.
You mean the Raven guy?
Yeah. He thought the ref was actually another player. He didn't.
But I would have hated to seen them throw a flag on that fourth down call.
I would too.
Would you really want a Super Bowl decided
like
that?
But Scooter, what do you think the 49ers are saying right now?
Just on principle alone, when fourth in the season, and the best you can come up with is that alley-oop fade.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not throwing
Not
the flag.
a great call.
I'm not
with all those weapons that San Francisco had.
Yeah. I'm not leaving it up to one player.
But the thing was, that's got to be a quick throw, guys. That has to be a quick throw.
Exactly.
It's got to be.
And you take the other 10 players out of the game.
Yeah.
That's got to be a
roll out to the right. Yeah. Roll out to the right.
You know, you had another call with the Ravens free safety was clearly offsides on the second play. Clearly didn't call it. Am I right?
On the rush, you mean?
They showed
Oh,
that
come on
and
now. He was offside. The guys even showed, they say, he's offsides.
We're going to go to break. But, you're sounding, why is my voice getting so hot? You guys get me so discombobulated with your opinions. So
I just like to level the playing field for both sides.
You're sounding a lot like me now. That, this call, y'all always accuse me of blaming a bad call here or a bad play here that decided the game.
No, not to that extent, but you've got to look at it overall. There were bad calls on both sides. So how do you even that to say, you know what, they should have gotten this, they should have gotten that?
I saw one bad call, and it was probably an okay no call. Joe Flacco was nailed clearly out of bounds.
He was out of bounds, yeah.
But he wasn't hurt. He bounced back up. But
they didn't call
that one should have been called, but it wasn't. But we're going to go to break.
And it was a bang-bang play.
It was a bang-bang.
Yeah.
But
normally they do.
What he's saying is, in the Crabtree, did the defender have his jersey? Yes.
Did he?
Did he? But Crabtree also was engaged.
But let me ask this. What's the intent?
I can't believe you, the defensive back, are taking the receiver.
But look, I've got to call like I see it. And I've done it before, but you got to get away with it. He didn't get away with it. It was clearly seen. This is my thing. What was Crabtree?
He did get away with it.
Yeah, he did. What was Crabtree's reason for wanting to hold him? That blows my mind. Why?
Not hold, but get away.
But that's my point.
Separation.
But that's my point. Yeah.
Hold it there. We're up against the clock. Oh my gosh.
My pet peeve.
The lights go out in the dome, and these knuckleheads say
cannot believe
it had
that.
nothing to do with the game.
Nothing.
We'll get into more of that.
Lights went on both teams.
I know there's a big issue we're going to tackle tonight. It's the public versus private state playoff high school football. Iowa principal Mike Oakley will join us later on in the second half hour of the show to give his side of the vote and this budding story, this story that just continues to develop about private and public in the state high school football playoffs. So that's a tease for later on in the show. We'll take a short pause, come right back here to Jack Daniels at LaBerge Casino. Stay right there.
Sound Off 60 is brought to you by Tarver Ford in Sulphur. Give us a chance to earn your business. And by Jack Daniels Bar and Grill at LaBerge Casino Resort.
At Tarver Ford, when we do a truck sale, we do it big, like 10 grand off big.
Come see us today and take 10 grand off MSRP on brand new 2012 Ford F-150s, F-250s, and F-350s. Take your pick, then take $10,000 off MSRP, 11 grand off MSRP if you finance with Ford. Plus, 0% for 60 months is available, 0 for 60.
So come see us today at Tarver Ford, off I-10 exit 21 in Sulphur.
When it comes to Miller time, battles aren't just fought by the man in the ring. They're shared by the men in his corner. It's not just a good time, it's Miller time.
Big Easy got the flavor, so easy to share. Always a crowd pleaser, easy to prepare. Big Easy, you always taste so good. You got Louisiana flavor, wrapped up so tight. Pick up some Big Easy foods tonight. Introducing Big Easy Foods in stores now.
Welcome back to Jack Daniels at LaBerge Casino. We are well illuminated here. The lights will not go out at Jack Daniels.
They did the first segment.
But that was...
We played that. Okay.
Little tongue-in-cheek.
We're playing that.
Little tongue-in-cheek.
Did you see what comments when they had to bleep Harbaugh comments to one of the guys with Entergy? I guess, I don't know who it was.
No, it was like a Superdome official, NFL official.
That was the NFL Director of Game Operations.
He pointed to him and say,
I mean, that was a big dog. He was.
Oh, yeah. But you know,
he was
late,
going off on
and
the
I
scooter.
did catch, he did do a quick apology on ESPN postgame.
He did.
And really, it wasn't the lights. He spent a few
Something to do
seconds
with their
on
phone system.
their telex. I think
Their telefax or whatever that comes down from stairs, it was off.
Yeah.
The 49ers would have been on the home side, so it was them that lost power on their side.
And it wasn't. I mean, maybe the NFL was saying, okay, we're going to be up in about a minute and a half. Are you ready, coach? And he's probably screaming at him.
He says,
we don't have communication. I ain't playing. It was crazy because Harbaugh was in his face, out of his face.
He was.
He kept going back and forth. Oh my gosh! If you were really
Jim Harbaugh is a live wire now.
Yeah, he is.
Being down there all week and being, not hanging out with him, but being at the press conference. John Harbaugh is a lot more laid back than Jim.
Yeah.
Impressive guys, though, right?
Both of them. But John, to me, more so than Jim.
Yeah. Hey, want to remind you, February 15th, the lights will be on big time. It's Gladys Night coming to LaBerge in the Concert Center, February 15th.
It's going to be a big concert
now. Want to get that out, so it's going to be a great show. Get your tickets now. There's some big shows coming up here to LaBerge. One of them in particular, March 22nd. They did the pre-Super Bowl concert. Matchbox 20 was down in New Orleans for the pre-game concert. Matchbox 20 will be here in March at LaBerge Casino. All right, let's get back to the Super Bowl. Man, there's so many different layers to this. 21-6 at the half, and then it was 28-6 after Jacoby Jones, who is a New Orleans native, along with Ed Reed from the Louisiana.
Left the Texans. Texas, why would you not keep this kid?
Oh,
it blows my mind. Why would you not keep him?
You know where he played college ball? Lane College.
Lane College.
Where is that at?
Where is it at school?
Division II?
Definitely. It's in Jackson, Tennessee. The school only has 2,000 students.
Wow. Oh, come on, Scooter.
Impressive player.
They play in a football stadium that seats 3,500.
Impressive.
Are you
not
serious?
only,
It's a high school
not
stadium,
only
Scooter.
was
That's
the
not even a high
kickoff
school stadium.
impressive, obviously, it was huge.
Yeah.
But the bomb from Flacco, when he got behind the defenders, who I'm sitting here saying, will the ball ever get there?
It's underthrown, actually.
And he caught it, hit it, and he gets up and scores a touchdown. That was huge, guys.
That was. God.
I mean, this kid, one or two more plays, and he's a legitimate MVP of the game.
Yeah,
hard to
halftime, I
halftime.
thought he was close. Right after the kickoff return, I thought he was the MVP. And I won't argue with Flacco.
Oh,
He
no,
played a good game.
you can't argue.
I don't either.
All right, so the Niners don't come out super sharp, all right? Kaepernick was off, okay?
He was.
He had a pick. He was off.
But you know what?
But he got on, and I think you converted me.
I'm telling you.
He did rise to the moment.
I thought he had
Overall.
an up-and-down game.
Well, he had some good throws.
I mean,
some
I will
good
not
throws.
argue that
boy
you
can throw.
you consider that he's only played 10, 11
he is a budding
games,
superstar.
that his future is bright, but his actual game last night, I would say, was kind of up and down.
There were little things that, time management things,
Their whole
wasted
offense
timeouts.
just didn't look like it was. Even when it worked, it didn't look like their fakes and handoffs were going real smooth.
And
Give
that's-
Baltimore credit.
That's just.
Well,
I mean,
yeah,
they shut down some of that
In
zone
fact,
read.
what really surprised me was the trouble the 49ers defense had.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I
The
really...
secondary, in
Oh, their
particular,
secondary.
The secondary made some. I mean, they fell apart. I mean, just on coverage. But you got to give it to the Ravens too. That Bolden, guys,
he's a
look,
man.
this boy is covered, and Flacco's got to say, I don't care if he's covered. I'm still throwing it.
He's going to throw it to him and let him jump and make a
still throwing
play.
it. And that's what he
How
did.
many throws
That's
were
what he
there
did.
when you're watching it on TV? You really thought Flacco was just throwing it away, out of bounds.
3 of them.
And they
Three
go
of them,
right
Scooter.
to receiver.
3 of them. Scooter, you're exactly right, Scooter.
You
One on the
remember
sideline.
those?
3 of them.
Yeah.
One on the sideline, I mean, and he goes up and gets it, and the receiver hand is between him and the ball, and he still brings it in. That's.
All right, let's get to
You
the
can't
end of the
coach
game.
that.
I thought Jim Harbaugh, according to his brother John, is the best coach in the NFL. But I really thought John outcoached him to
In what way?
death. In that, well, know what? I thought John Harbaugh, the Ravens, had made a serious mistake.
On the fake.
No, well, that was early in the
Okay.
game. I'm talking about them.
Okay, call.
Let's talk about that too, though.
Well, no, I didn't like that one. If you're going to run your kicker, it better be like 3 yards, not 10.
Yeah, I'll give you that. It was a
LSU
little
flashback.
off.
No,
Good point.
that was an LSU flashback, okay?
Okay.
But the timing wasn't okay.
But
It was
I
deep in
really
their
thought,
territory.
He was on the field,
John
too, was good.
made a big mistake when he didn't use 2 timeouts, say, before the 2-minute warning.
To stop
Because
it.
I'm going with the assumption the
stop it.
49ers are going to score there.
Yeah.
And if they had, he would have been screwed.
Yeah.
He would not have a lot of time.
But then,
But he had faith in his defense.
well,
He had faith in
that's
his
fine
defense.
That's what he
to
was
have
depending
faith
on,
in
Rick.
your defense. Now, as it turned out, it worked out great
Yeah.
because then
Yeah.
the 49ers would have had another chance.
Because you got to question.
So it
you got to
did work
question
out
Greg Roman's offensive calls.
Yeah,
for
did.
one thing.
Well, but that's what I'm getting to. But then the 49ers get there on the 5-yard line. And what do you keep talking about? This mobile quarterback that you can't defend?
What?
They
and
don't
the
bring
thing-
his mobility into play. They throw 3 quick passes.
Yeah, that
Capped off by the
5-yard line.
idiot, you know what feeling, unless you've got some absurd mismatch, with a 6'7" guy, something like that. When you throw that alley-oop fade, what you said is, well, we can't think of anything else. We'll just give this a shot.
The first play that I would have probably
And they had
ran
so
with
many
him,
more options.
the first play would have probably been drop back quarterback sneak because they're looking for it,
He
Rick.
did that once in the first
They're looking
one,
for it, Rick. I would have went to that, Rick. Even if
but
I
at
get
least
2
roll
yards
him
off
out
of it.
and let his. I mean, you took
I was
his
blown away at the play call
mobility
on that,
out
though.
of that series.
Yeah.
I was blown away at
With
the play
those
call.
quick passes and then the alley-oop.
Yeah.
They're gonna look down on film and they're gonna say,
yeah.
boy, they're gonna knock their heads up against the wall.
All right, flash forward, and admittedly, by the time they stopped the Ravens and made them punt, they were looking for a miracle.
Oh, yeah.
But they sure didn't help. I mean, and I thought it was to me, I won't call it a brilliant move, but taking the safety, it was a no-brainer.
Yeah.
No-brainer.
Yeah.
I mean, you're gaining 30 yards
Yeah.
from kicking
You
to the
are.
back of the end
To
zone
put them-
to the
yeah.
20.
Good point.
it could've been
For
on the
what's
50.
going to probably be 1-2 plays at most.
At most.
Yeah.
But the 49ers let a punter run around there for 7 seconds.
Well, Scooter.
There was some holding going
It was
on.
some holding.
But-
It was
yeah,
some
but-
holding.
but-
Granted, it was some holding, Scooter.
But
Yeah.
so what?
It was some holding.
So what? If you get out, you want a safety anyways, hold it in the end zone, that's a safety. That's
know.
what you're looking
I know.
for.
Yeah.
That was smart by the
so-
Ravens.
You're right, though.
Smart by the Ravens.
But how could they let 7 seconds?
I don't know. 7
Before
seconds ran
you
off.
tackle a punter?
Very good point.
Or run him out of bounds.
All right. Save some of that. We're going to come back.
That
We're
was
gonna
crazy.
Chew on a few more of the key things with Super Bowl 47. It was Baltimore over San Francisco, 34.
Okay, you said
31.
that once. You said that once already.
Rick's picks
We know.
was 31-27 Baltimore. I wasn't that far off. We're coming right back. Stay right here.
All right.
Sound Off 60 is presented by Jack Daniels Bar and Grill at L'Auberge Casino Resort and by Tarver Ford, Douglas Parkway in Sulphur.
Get your free American Press app today. It's all at your fingertips. News, sports, advertising, entertainment, and video delivered through your Apple or Android mobile device. Capture the informative power of the American Press, Southwest Louisiana's premier source for news and advertising. Get your American Press app today. Download it for free through your iTunes or App Store. You'll love the look and feel of our newest digital offering. The app flawlessly delivers the local news most important to you in a new, striking layout. Get your American Press app today.
When Miller time is on the line. Friends don't choose sides. They root for the victory that they all get to share in together. It's not just a good time, it's Miller time.
Choosing your doctors and healthcare professionals is an important and personal decision, and one that you should feel totally comfortable with. Hello, I'm Dr. Trisa Guidry, and I'd like to welcome you to our clinic, where your health and well-being is our top priority. I'm a board-certified OBGYN and a graduate of LSU. My dedicated staff and I would like to invite you to call for a consultation and appointment. You will experience the trust, comfort, and medical treatments you deserve. We are Dr. Trisa Guidry.
So, Philip, you guys have been here for 3 years. I see the blue tags everywhere. How's it going?
Oh, we've made great progress, Judd. We've got people coming from Westlake to Quincy, Hackberry, Vinton, even coming across the bridge in Lake Charles, Moss Bluff, and Iowa. It's not that far, and we really are having a great time serving them and seeing people respond to us.
So, Todd, give me an example of what you got going on here.
Well, Joe, we got a $299 a month lease on the F-150 crew cab, and as always, complimentary lifetime oil changes. We've got a great group of people here working real hard to serve our customers.
So come see us at Tarver Ford, exit 21 in Sulphur.
Welcome back to Jack Daniels at LaBerge Casino. We're getting in more into the details of Super Bowl 47 played at the Mercedes Superdome in Louisiana's Dome in New Orleans, of course. Lights go out, 28-6 lead, huge comeback by the 49ers, just all over the place. So many different angles and layers to this game. You mentioned about the fake field goal. That was kind of quirky, didn't really, you know, they took 3 points off the board, but I don't think it hurt them.
But you know what? I think they was trying to go for the dagger.
I think that's what it was.
That wouldn't have been the dagger.
It was an aggressive call.
Because if you say that would have been a dagger, well, what was the kickoff to open the second half?
Yeah,
that wasn't a dagger?
Aggressive call. I mean, look, you know, all of a sudden, when the lights go out, we're going to argue about this, I hope, before the show ends again. The lights go out, and then, you know, the Ravens miss tackles against Crabtree, he scores. Gore goes in, he scores. Ray Rice fumbles, they score. I mean, 17 unanswered points. It was like, you played the game. I mean, can you feel momentum change?
Oh, Rick, no doubt about it, Rick.
Unbelievable.
But the thing was, when you look at that team, you've got to credit, Rick. Come on. Credit the 49ers, Rick.
I do.
They are a good football team.
They're very good.
Let's not make it seem as if because the lights went off that they all of a sudden came alive.
Don't start it again. Later on in the show. Later on in the show.
But they are a good football team.
They took advantage. They took advantage.
I think they are a good team.
And you knew that was going to happen.
I don't think they played. I do remember my prediction. I said if both teams play their best.
Yes, you did say
the 49ers.
You said the 49ers were just a better team.
I changed my opinion after being there.
Oh, okay.
All week.
Because the Ravens pooped on your
That's why I wrote in the column that I thought the Ravens would win.
Okay, all right.
But I did not think the 49ers played their best game,
no,
particularly
they
defensively. I just thought they would be better defensively against the Ravens.
And when you talk about the secondary by San Francisco, go back and look at it. Flacco, the touchdowns in the end zone, let me tell you, they were rockets right on the button. Right on the button.
Let me say, if you look at most of the throws that was done in this game was to who on both teams? The tight end.
Yeah.
Because the linebackers on both sides, I've got to credit both sides, could not cover them. Could not. Yeah. And that's what you do. That's how you create mismatches. Everybody looking at the first touchdown by the Ravens, that wasn't a free safety's fault. That was the linebacker that couldn't cover the tight end.
Yeah.
You know, so when you look at it, credit both sides, man, for knowing where to go at the right time. And heck, that were great throws by both quarterbacks. But I've got to say, man, I earned a little bit more respect for Flacco. Unflappable, that should have been your hit.
Fourth
unflappable,
and a foot.
Man.
He checks out of a run and goes to an 8-yard pass to Bolden, who was well covered. And they get the first down.
That's pretty
on
strong,
fourth
man.
and a foot.
You know,
and he throws it.
Flacco.
Thought it was fourth.
No, it was just third down.
Third? Okay. Still,
Flacco, but I mean, I would assume they were going to have to punt if they didn't make it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But looking at him right now, guys, he's in the $20 million mark right now.
He's up for a big contract.
He's in the $20 million mark right
now. They're probably going to have to overpay for him. I mean, I'm not downgrading him. But, I mean, I don't think he's Drew Brees or Peyton Manning yet.
Not yet, but you know what?
But, I mean, I'm not saying he won't get there.
He's got a Super Bowl, Scooter.
He's got a Super Bowl.
He's got a Super Bowl.
He's got a Super Bowl. I mean, I just look at it. I was arguing with this with somebody last night. And I said, okay, let's take Drew Brees.
You argue with people outside of us?
Yeah,
I don't know. You would think you'd have enough of arguing.
You know, just.
Does he really?
Look at it this way. Take Drew Brees out of the Saints.
Okay.
They're screwed.
They're done.
I mean, take Flacco out of the Ravens. You might could plug somebody else in there.
Yeah.
Well,
I see your point. I see your point.
Yeah.
But from where he's gone and to tie Montana's record,
11 touchdowns, no picks, all the wins on the road.
That's pretty good.
And did he move well?
Yes,
he was sacked once.
Yes, he did. Hey,
and he's
by the way,
he's got giraffe legs, but he can.
I hate it when you get that look on your face.
By the way,
I hate it when that look. I know what's coming.
What's the one argument that we talk about the most? It's about a mobile quarterback.
Flacco isn't mobile.
Flacco isn't mobile.
He just moves well. He sidesteps
and
well.
How did that help him in the game Sunday?
Oh, he's not mobile. I'm just saying he moves well.
No, you're wrong.
How did that help him in the game?
Well, you might as well call Drew Brees.
He got away from three sacks.
Drew Brees is a mobile
sacks.
quarterback.
That should have been sacks.
So you're calling Drew Brees a mobile quarterback?
No.
Well, he was doing the same thing Brees does. Just
Sidestep. A little move here, a little move there.
I was surprised. I was surprised.
They're not putting in the read option.
No, he's not. No.
Let's finish up the Super Bowl. Well, so much to talk, but the zone read option wasn't a factor when it comes to Kaepernick.
And Rick,
he had one design play, and it was that little draw up the
Rick,
middle. They didn't run it.
Yeah.
They simply didn't run it.
They were effective. They scored on it one play where it was kind of a counter coming back the other way.
Yeah,
that
but
was
I'm talking
a well-designed
I'm
play.
talking Kaepernick.
Yeah, but his fake there.
Yeah.
But he's such a threat guy when he's
he didn't run.
Did you see the 17-yard run? Did you think that the kid was tackled? I thought he was going to be tackled.
Yeah.
Scooted in his zone.
He's a scrambler.
He's a talent, man.
He's a scrambler.
He's a talent.
All right, we're going to table Super Bowl 47. Coming up next, we're going to sink our teeth into a very emotional, controversial story that is still developing in Southwest Louisiana. We talked about it last week. It's a reference to a Louisiana High School Athletic Association vote by the principals of taking the private and select schools out of the state playoffs, letting them play on their own
separately,
and letting the public schools vie for state football championships. It's all set to begin next season. Iowa principal Mike Oakley is coming up next. He is one of the co-authors of the proposal to make this move and to split them up. He's coming on our show. We're going to question him on his opinions and where this is headed when we come back in about 2.5 minutes to Jack Daniels. Stay right here.
We are worldwide, 365 and 24/7 at soundoff60.com. Sound Off 60 is presented by Jack Daniels Bar and Grill at L'Auberge Casino Resort and by Tarver Ford Sulphur. Back after this break.
It's not just a good time, it's Miller time.
Fly the blimp, too much hot air. Race announcer, same thing there. Wouldn't get a word in with you know who. Just get down on the track and do what you do. Slide down in my seat, pull the belts tight. Get up on the wheel and let the dust fly. Napa know-how.
Welcome back to the show. We're at Jack Daniels at L'Auberge Casino. You heard, I kind of set up this story before we went to break. I don't want to waste any more time because I think everybody knows that follows this issue and this question, knows what's going on with this vote, public versus private or select schools in the state high school football championships for next season. Iowa principal Mike Oakley has so kind to join us to talk about your side of it, your opinions of this developing story, and you co-authored this proposal, and the vote went through in favor of splitting up the private versus public or away from each other in the state playoffs. Mike, we appreciate you coming in right from the outset. I do want to say that we wanted to have two sides to the story. We did invite St. Louis High School principal Ted Nixon, who, of course, on the private side of it, and he chose not to attend or not to appear on tonight's show. So we appreciate Mike coming in. First off, you co-authored it, it passed. How emotional and how close was that vote?
It was 2-1.
2-1 in favor.
Right. Pretty much down the select schools, public school line.
And these are principals voting?
That's correct, principals only. Right.
And you had to know this was going to be a vote and a story that was going to draw criticism and maybe applause on the other side.
We knew that going into it, but the reason we made the proposal was because over time it's just evolved into what it is.
Yes.
Everybody is very much aware of the fact that the private schools or the select schools, it's a better term for them now because it includes charters as well.
Right.
are dominating the sports arenas. Football is the most obvious, but when you look at volleyball and baseball and some of the other minor sports, swimming and all these others.
But this doesn't affect any other sports.
That is correct. That does not.
It only affects football.
The original proposal, Mr. Ramsey's proposal, was going to do all the sports. And that was tabled last year.
Okay. This isn't the first year a proposal like this has come up.
No, it's not.
I mean, I'm guessing maybe the last 4 or 5 years. What was the difference this year?
This year was football only. I sat in on a committee where they were looking at putting in divisions, going to divisional proposals and playing up and going into the super class. And that's where I first threw this idea out about us playing together for 10 weeks. And after 10 weeks, those schools that select, or the private versus public, would go in opposite directions in playing their state championships. The reason that this was different than Mr. Ramsey's proposal, his proposal was going to be all sports. Football, we felt like would be an easier thing to do because it's the most obvious thing. It involves one sport. We're talking about one game a week for 10 weeks and then going off into the playoffs. We knew that there were going to be some inherent problems when we moved in that direction by combining classes together into divisions, like 1A and 2A together based on power ratings, 3, 4, and 5 together. Now, the issue that they like to throw out is about the disparity in the numbers, but in 5A alone, right now, you're looking at 1,300 students difference just in 5A alone. The biggest school is going to run you about 2,200, 2,400, and the smallest school is going to run you about 1,100 in 5A, and that's with everybody in it. So they're operating with some disparities in numbers as it is now.
But a school with 1,100 is still a pretty good-sized school.
That's correct.
What would you say to the people who would say, this is all about 2 schools, John Curtis and Evangel, dominating for years? Why not just kick them out or whatever? But is this not an overreaction to really what is just 2 schools?
No, it's a reaction to the rules. The way the rules are set up, there's 2 sets of rules in the LHSAA right now. And some are for the select and private schools. They're tuition rules. Just recently, I shared with Kevin earlier today that what the schools did, the select schools were allowed to do is before we passed the 9th grade rule, they made principals of the 9th grade students on their campus, in their building with their kids, in order for those kids to be able to come in as 9th graders and be able to compete on the junior varsity level. Now, the public schools didn't have that privilege. There's nothing we could do about that, but they could configure their schools so they could make that happen. Now, when the 9th grade rule passed last year, the first casualty of the 9th grade rule were those principals at those schools. They didn't need them anymore. So that rule and those guys being placed in those positions were not done for academic reasons. Those things were done for athletic reasons.
Okay. If assuming all of these advantages you're saying for athletics, why let them play the regular season with you? If they're good enough to play the regular season with you, why do they have to go their separate ways just for the playoffs?
You're talking about a complete split in the association.
Yeah.
We do not have a problem competing with them in the district. That's not the issue. The issue becomes after the district's over with, your quest for a state championship, and that's not a likelihood depending on which classes you're in. Now, with all of that, I was told, yeah, well, what about Haynesville? What about those schools won 17 state championships? And they went on and on about them. I said, when's the last time they won one? Tell me when that happened. So some of these programs that were able to compete before can no longer compete based on the way things are set up. So something needed to change. And obviously 2/3 of the principals in the associations agreed that needed to take place. So we're taking football, we're taking one sport. We understand there are going to be some inherent problems. We'll work through those things. We'll look at the power ratings. We'll look at the rating system. Right now, all of our sports don't have a straight-up power rating system. Like in soccer, you're still ranking the teams, which is one suggestion. You're still taking out second-place teams in some of these things. So they're still tweaking these power rating systems as we speak. So at some point in time, hopefully we'll all get to the same point.
Go ahead, Kevin. I want to jump in right
Mike,
out.
one of the questions that I know that have come to me that people have mentioned, they say, well, Kevin, private versus public, the argument is that, private seem to get the cream of the crop for us for students that are athletically inclined to be very good later on down the road versus public schools. When you're dealing with out-of-zone students, how big a factor, Mike, is that in public schools when you're looking at it, that you've got students at a certain school that really shouldn't be there because they're out of zone, but they're actually at that school participating. Is that big a factor when you talk about public school having kids there that are out of zone?
When you talk about public schools with out of zone kids, that can happen. Some of these things with students coming to you out of zone are by federal decree. Segregation orders are going to allow it. So in those cases, that's a federal mandate that's going to happen. So that's a different story than just allowing them to go, like you would have an open enrollment in.
So they would not be subject to it?
They would not be. For example, let's just say, for example, Barb, they have students that are bused into Barb every day. That's part of the desegregation order that can happen. Now, not all the parishes that have desegregation orders is that the case. So you have to look at it on a case-by-case basis to whether these schools will be included in there or not.
Mike Oakley, Iowa principal, has joined us on Sound Off 60 to talk about the recent vote by the Athletic Association to split the public versus private away from each other for the state high school football playoffs next season. Let me jump in quickly with this. I spoke with a high-level state legislator from Southwest Louisiana this past week. This is an emotional story. And now there are some high-level folks out there on the academic side and the athletic side calling for the legislature to get involved. You mentioned about tweaking. You mentioned about looking at this. Do you anticipate the state legislature getting involved in some way or applying some kind of pressure to the principals as a whole to take another look at this and maybe find another solution?
They tried that with homeschoolers, and the courts upheld the position. The LHSA is a private organization, and if the legislature can pass rules that the private organizations have to follow, then country clubs and everybody else that has some sort of private voluntary organization can get ready because they're fixing to come start telling
Well, I would just soon keep the legislature out of it,
Well, and they need to. They've got bigger issues to deal with.
I can't agree with you more. I'm just saying there's a move afoot.
Well, I understand that, and that's fine, and they're entitled to do whatever it is they want to do. Last time I checked, it was a free country. Last time I checked, the majority rule. So if we got 2/3 of the principals in a voluntary association saying that that's what they think the rule should be, then that's what the rule needs to be. And the other thing is, when we got ready to pass this thing, there's 2 rules that we're supposed to consider before we ever pass any kind of rule in the LHSAA. First one is it in the best interest of the student athlete. That's the first thing. Second thing is, does it promote fair and equitable competition? So to answer the first one, we're going to have more kids, more schools, more communities competing for playoffs and state championships than we've ever had before. So tell me how that's a bad thing. Second thing is...
Well, I will.
Tell me how.
We
kind of disagree with that.
It's the old summer camp, every kid gets a trophy syndrome. I mean, they're going to be winners and losers in life.
Absolutely.
And everybody can't get a trophy.
Absolutely, and they're not.
But everybody, as I understand it, in Class 1A is going to make the playoffs.
That's right, and there's going to be 5 buys. And you know how many state champs are going to have in Class 1A? There's going to be 1.
Yeah.
There's going to be 1.
But I mean, everybody's going to make the playoffs.
Just like everybody else.
I mean,
so that's a bad thing that every kid gets to compete in postseason activity.
Well, I mean,
some
I think
who have never ever done that before. So tell me why that's a bad thing.
It'll be a short stay.
Tell me why that's a bad thing.
For most of them. Well, I mean...
Because you can't. You can't tell me it's a bad thing.
Well, I can tell you it's a bad thing.
To you,
they're winners and losers in life.
And they're still
every week. Well, you can always say, hey, we made the playoffs my senior year.
That's exactly
We went
right.
1-9,
so
but we made the playoffs.
You made the playoff. Did you win a state championship?
No.
Okay, you didn't.
You made the playoffs. That sounds good.
Do you, I think we talked about this last week. What was it, 22 years ago when they expanded? Are you in support of having the system that we just, the year we just got, having all 32 teams in each division? Are you in support of that?
They have 32 in there now. If they don't have enough, it was
well, now you've got more than 32.
Oh, yeah.
After they split for the playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean, that's way too many.
Yeah.
So more kids, more postseason activity, more state championships, more community involvement. That's the first thing. That's the first rule. So tell me how that's bad for kids. Whether you like it or not, or I like it or not, doesn't matter. It's good for the kids. Second thing is, to promote fair and equitable competition. Absolutely, because the schools that follow these rules are going to go play against schools that are just like them, and schools that follow these rules are going to play against schools just like them.
I mean, you got big disparities, but I mean, I can see where you're going, and I won't totally disagree with the fair and equitable competition. Yeah, it doesn't seem fair. My whole point, I mean, I still don't get the fact of if it's okay for them to play the regular season, why can't they play the postseason?
Because you're looking to get to the state championship level. And so having them there for the power ratings or whatever it is you want to have them for, use the wins and losses to decide who's going to fit in what part of the bracket, that's fine. But when it comes time for the championship, the playoff portion of the season, then you put schools that are alike against schools that are alike, and you keep it that way. That's fair and equitable, and that's good for the kids.
Kevin, we're going to let you have the last word. Last question. Make it quick. There's a lot.
I'm from a public school setting, and you know, I can understand what Mike's saying.
You're a good example, though. You played at a private school, and your kids went to a private school.
Right. Yeah, but I mean, I understand what Mike is saying, and you know, what I want to see from all aspects of it is that the playing field be level for everybody.
And you think this will achieve that?
That's what I want to see.
Mike, we got to leave it here. We want you to come back, though. Because obviously you're very passionate on this.
Yeah, he is.
You obviously have a great insight because you co-wrote this proposal. You've been involved in this from the beginning. We would like to get the private side of it, and we're going to continue to try to strive to get a private school principal on here so you and he can kind of go back and forth so we can look at this full 360 if you don't mind. We do appreciate you coming in. Iowa Principal Mike Oakley. This is a developing story, and it's charged with a lot of emotion. We appreciate you coming in. Short break, come back here at Jack Daniels. More on the Super Bowl and so much more when we come back. Stay right here.
Jack Daniels Bar and Grill at LaBerge Casino Resort, home of Sound Off 60, and Tarver Ford in Sulphur. Give us a chance to earn your business. Round 5 with the boys coming up.
At Tarver Ford, when we do a truck sale, we do it big, like 10 grand off big.
Come see us today and take 10 grand off MSRP on brand new 2012 Ford F-150s, F-250s, and F-350s. Take your pick, then take $10,000 off MSRP, 11 grand off MSRP if you finance with Ford. Plus, 0% for 60 months is available, 0 for 60.
So come see us today at Tarver Ford, off I-10 exit 21 in Sulphur.
Get your free American Press app today. It's all at your fingertips. News, sports, advertising, entertainment, and video delivered through your Apple or Android mobile device. Capture the informative power of the American Press, Southwest Louisiana's premier source for news and advertising. Get your American Press app today. Download it for free through your iTunes or App Store. You'll love the look and feel of our newest digital offering. The app flawlessly delivers the local news most important to you in a new, striking layout. Get your American Press app today.
What is it about Luxair cooling products that deliver the comfort you've been wishing for? Is it their energy-saving performance? Those super cozy moments with loved ones? Or perhaps it's that great feeling you get in helping those wishing for a little comfort of their own? For over a decade, we've been helping deliver hope, strength, and joy to Make-A-Wish children and families at a time when they need it most. Find out how Luxair home comfort products will make you feel really good this season. Luxair, the comfort you've been wishing for.
All right, welcome back to the show. We're at Jack Daniels at LaBerge Casino. This is Lake Charles, Louisiana. Super Bowl 47 was in New Orleans, Louisiana, where the lights went out only for 34 minutes. One of the storylines, and I noticed there was a little bit of you, was food. When you have a Super Bowl in New Orleans, food is a major part of it.
Yeah.
I didn't see crawfish étouffée pop up in a lot of your writing. Maybe once. Something about gumbo and good columns there. I appreciate that. We'll get into that, your opinion of the Super Bowl in New Orleans in the last segment.
Can I just say this, Rick? The lights being off for 34 minutes in the state of Louisiana, you think liquor sales went up?
In the Gulf, you got 34 minutes. You got to do something. Might as well go buy a Miller Lite and a Coors Light. That's a long time.
The best I tweeted, best tweet I heard was,
man.
Well, everybody goes to New Orleans, blacks out at some point.
Got it, yeah. That's a break. Speaking of great food, Big Easy Foods, crawfish étouffée is the microwavable dinner that you can go out to the stores and buy right now and have it ready to go in 12-ounce individual servings for your family. I know everybody gets busy. You think you go to New Orleans and you have great étouffée and gumbos, you can get the same quality with Big Easy Foods.
It's a good time of year to have it
right here in Lake Charles. Get more information, BigEasyFoods.com, and they got some great dinners out at retail.
Before we move on, and I appreciate Mike Oakley, the principal at Iowa, coming on.
Very insightful.
And
ask you too about it.
My whole point, I will agree with him that there's a problem.
Yes,
I'm just not sure that's the solution yet.
I'm not either.
I've got and I'm not smart enough to know what the solution is, and somebody's got to try solutions. And I'll give him credit for that. But I don't know what the answer
Well,
is.
you know,
But I just
maybe
don't think
you got to try. Nothing is carved in stone.
Right, I agree.
Kevin, maybe you try it, and
Yeah.
it may not work. And you take a step back and regroup and maybe try
I
again
know
with
one
something
thing.
else.
I mean, I'm just going to throw it out there. Let's say they're going to do it this way. Well, I think you could cut it down to 4 classes instead of 5 if you're going to ship.
You talking about public?
Yeah. Well, 4 for both. I mean, because they'll be in there in the regular season.
Yeah. Okay.
And I don't like this whole business of, well, they can play the regular season.
Yeah, you were kind of harping on
against
that,
teams,
and I'm with you on that.
And then they go have their own playoffs.
I'm kind of with you on that. I'm kind of with you on that.
But if you're going to do that, you're obviously cutting down greatly the pool for the playoffs. And I mean, in fact, what you have for the playoffs now is 7 classes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we talked about that last week's show in regards to the state of Louisiana with 3 million people in it, and we have 7 classes of high school football championships.
It makes no sense.
You know, guys,
That's inflated.
And I understand that. And you know, at the end of the day, guys, it's not about the legislation as to what's going to happen to it, or myself, or you. It's all about the kids at the end of the day.
And you know,
what's
that's
going
a
to be
good
best
point,
for the
Kevin.
kids.
That's a good point.
That's the bottom line for this.
You see, we don't have, I mean, obviously Mike Oakley from Iowa High School.
Yeah.
I mean, he is very involved in this, and he's also a principal.
Yeah.
And he is very close to the kids.
He is.
We don't have kids in high school anymore. Well, you do.
I do. I still have one.
But they're not playing football.
No.
So maybe, you know, we have a different look on it.
And
maybe, you know, maybe you got to look at it from his perspective.
And you know what?
Because he's right there on the front line.
And when I go back,
I'll give him.
And I can sympathize with him a lot because he's very passionate about what he's talking about, and he totally believes in it. I mean, I sat with him for almost 30 minutes and talked with him about it, and he loved those kids.
Yeah.
But this is the thing that I think that really comes back to me. The way I've always been raised in playing sports is that if you want to be the best, you got to play the best. Now, whether that has any merit on people saying, well, Kevin, I know, but that's just me. If you want to classify yourself as the top team, shouldn't you have to play the best
Principal
competition?
Oakley did make a key point on this. That when you talk about fairness and equitable play,
and I agree.
There's other layers of this story, not only on the football field, but when it comes to the curriculum, when it comes to this ninth grader rule. So the private and selects can change their rules and make it an equitable playing field.
An overreaction to a even with among the private schools. I really believe that there's a small minority of them, even if it's, well, you know, I said 2, Curtis
but they're
and
good.
Evangel.
But they're good.
There may be a few more.
Oh, there are a few more.
But it's
they're good.
They are getting punished for the sins of a few, or sins or advantages of a few.
Private and select you're talking about.
Yeah, these private schools, the vast majority face the same challenges that Iowa does, say, against most of these schools. They face the same challenges playing with them.
Yes.
And now they're going to just get their heads drummed in the playoffs with more disparity between, you know, you talk about what's good for the kids. I'm not sure those kids going to be anything good for them come out of it.
I'm trying to play devil's advocate.
I am
and
too.
I listened intently to Mike Oakley. He brought a very strong argument to the table in regards to the betterment and for the betterment of the schools and the kids. Yes, we want to see our kids go out and be in postseason play and enjoy and have that experience. I also see your point in regards to not all can win trophies, and I'm with you on that. Yeah. I just don't know what the common compromise and solution is.
Because
I don't think it's ended. I
don't think it is. I don't think this is over. And I'm with him. I hope the legislature doesn't get involved. But
the legislator I spoke to doesn't want the legislature to get involved.
Right.
But he's not the entire legislature.
Right.
Exactly.
There's big shots in Lafayette that do.
But I know, I mean, the private schools are having meetings all over the state already. Yeah. I mean, they're not secret meetings. They're talking about it.
And they've got clout, too.
Yeah, and they do. Yeah. I mean, well, they have legislators, too.
Well, that's true. That's true. That's true. Interesting. This is, again, a developing story. And
that's a lot to take in.
Unfortunately, I say unfortunately, we can only bring the Mike Oakley side of it from the public sector. Yeah. We want to get, and we had an invitation to St. Louis High Principal Ted Nixon to come on, He had other things, a conflicting schedule. He chose not to rearrange the schedule and come on. We will extend that invitation again.
Yes, we will.
And to try to get the private side of it. And don't
because we need to. We need to hear both sides.
I'd love to have somebody from Notre Dame or Calvary Baptist on this show to argue the private side of it, but that may come at a later time. We'll take another short pause and come back to Jack Daniels to wrap it up. Stay right here.
Sound Off 60 is presented by Tarver Ford, Sulphur. Give us a chance to earn your business. And by Jack Daniels Bar and Grill at LeBerge Casino Resort.
Philip, you guys have been here for 3 years. I see the blue tags everywhere. How's it going?
Oh, we've made great progress, Judd. We've got people coming from Westlake to Quincy, Hackberry, Vinton, even coming across the bridge in Lake Charles, Moss Bluff, and Iowa. It's not that far, and we really are having a great time serving them and seeing people respond to us.
So, Todd, give me an example of what you got going on here.
Well, Joe, we got a $299 a month lease on the F-150 crew cab, and as always, complimentary lifetime oil changes. We've got a great group of people here working real hard to serve our customers.
So come see us at Tarver Ford, exit 21 in Sulphur.
Miller Time. You won't find it on any clock or specific time zone. Miller Time isn't so much about when as it is about who. It's about the friends you go to bat for, the ones who'll be there when they say they will. Even if being there means crossing state lines with no questions asked. Because guys that leave nobody behind deserve a beer that leaves no taste behind. And with great friends and a great tasting light beer, it's not just a good time, it's Miller Time.
Welcome back to Jack Daniels. Time for Stump the Wise Guys.
Yes, it is.
Christy and Kayla, something tells me it's going to be on the Super Bowl.
I bet
Who's
it
up
is.
first? Christy?
I'm up
Here
first.
we go.
All right. The Baltimore Ravens have now won Super Bowls in their first 2 appearances. Name the 5 other teams that have also won their first Super Bowl appearances.
San Francisco.
San Francisco.
That was easy.
Pittsburgh.
Yes.
Pittsburgh, Green Bay.
Yes.
60s.
One more.
Miami.
And Miami.
Got to be Miami.
Miami.
We got
And
it?
it says, and the New York Giants.
New York Giants.
Giants.
New York Giants.
In 1987 and 91.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
They would have, I guess they
Okay.
seven was their first
The
one.
first 2. Okay, Kayla.
All right. The Ravens' Jacoby Jones now owns the record for the longest play in Super Bowl history with his 108-yard kickoff return. Who held the record for the longest Super Bowl play before Sunday's thrilling return?
God.
I think it's Desmond Howard.
Howard. Desmond Howard.
Incorrect.
What?
You want to take another shot at it?
All right. No.
Desmond.
No. We might be stumped.
Pittsburgh linebacker James Harrison had the record for his
James
100-yard
pick.
interception
Oh,
return.
I remember that.
Versus Arizona.
Yes.
The 100 yards.
They had 8
100
people
yards.
should have tackled.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, all right,
James
Christy, back to you.
Very good.
All right. You can see that, can you? Who is the only NFL coach to take his team to 4 straight Super Bowls?
Marv Levy.
4 straight?
Marv Levy.
Oh, yeah, he lost all
Levy.
4.
Yeah, lost all 4 of them.
That's an accomplishment, though.
That's the
amazing.
Bills. The Bills. That was
All right,
heartbreaking.
bonus question to
Bonus
Kayla.
question. What 4 teams share the record for the most Super Bowl losses?
Buffalo.
Oh, Buffalo for sure.
Minnesota.
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 I didn't know there was more than I thought.
I didn't know either.
Patriots. Bill Parcells lost to
New
Brett
England.
Favre, so it's
New
got to be the
England.
Patriots.
One more.
Come on, Rick.
God,
Dog it.
we say Vikings.
That's a tough one.
Yeah. Bills, Vikings, Patriots.
Bill.
Bills, Vikings, Patriots. Dog.
Do you want a hint?
Jets.
New
The
York.
obviously, no, not the
Starts
Jets.
with the D.
Denver.
Denver.
Yes.
My old team. That's right. That's right.
My old team.
You should have known.
Oh, man.
Christy,
Denver.
Kayla, we
Oh,
appreciate
God.
it. Thank you, ladies.
Good job,
Thank you
ladies.
very much.
Oh, that
very
was
nice.
good.
Very nice smiles, by the way,
Man.
ladies of the Bears. All right.
God.
Are they going to hang with us till the end? Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. All right. I don't know if we're going to go back to the lights. The lights
are
next
gone.
week.
The lights are gone.
Quickly,
We're
quickly.
done.
No, is that it?
Yeah.
No, we got 30 seconds.
What?
Great time in New Orleans.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
They put on
yeah.
a great show.
Yeah,
They did an excellent
Beyonce.
job
Put
with
the
their-
lights out.
Yeah.
Yes, you know, I left right after we did the show last Monday.
Yeah.
I got to New Orleans late Monday night, and was
Great
was
weather
there
helps,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, great weather now. But it really, I mean, it was kind of dead till about Thursday and really Friday.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
Fans
for the
start rolling in.
fans, it's still basically a weekend event. It's not
The
like
airport
they're on
became
their
busy.
own
Yeah,
week.
yeah.
It livened up a lot.
The city must get it sooner than 10 years.
Yeah.
It's got to be in that 6
that's
to
the
8
number
year
one thing,
rotation.
Rick. That's got to be the number
buzz
one thing.
is pretty much a done deal, even with the lights going out.
Oh, yeah, that
they're going to get it in 2018.
2018.
That's the
before
next
that.
available.
Oh, next available.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
2018.
All right, doggone it, great show, guy. A-Game,
As
Christy,
always.
Caleb, beautiful smile.
Enjoyed it.
Beautiful smile, ladies.
Super Bowl.
That's going to wrap it up. We'll see you at the games, everybody. Join us next week.
Sound Off 60 is presented by Tarver Ford in Sulphur. Give us a chance to earn your business. And by Jack Daniel's Bar and Grill at LaBerge Casino Resort. Sound Off 60 airs on Suddenlink Cable Channel 60 Monday through Sunday nights, 9 p.m. and again Saturday and Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. Sound Off 60 also airs throughout the week on Communicom Cable Channel 6 at 9 p.m. across Southwest Louisiana. Check your local listings. Post your questions and comments for the boys and access our website links at soundoff60.com.